we find ourselves in Milwaukee in 2016, and whether you're in tech, art, music, performance, there's entities that deal with the arts in Milwaukee. Are they open? Are they closed? I mean, if you look at just tech and how we're not leading the pack in the United States, how do we rectify this? I mean, is there a big clearinghouse that we all go to and that supports us and we go out into the world? I mean, we have to look at our internal customers, which is everybody in Milwaukee. We have to look at our external customers, who are everybody outside of Milwaukee. So what do? I mean, we talk about this a lot. This organization gets $200,000 to do this. The Shorewood, Business Improvement District doing the right thing when they spend $330,000 on a train, a ghost train, by the way. Those are questions. Do we all come together? Are we working together? So that's something I'd like you to expound on. I mean, where do you guys go? Where do you go to in Milwaukee? What organizations are you part of or may not be part of to bring us all together? Because personally, I think we need to come together.
Me personally, I think we are together. I think there are a wealth of opportunities. There's a wealth of creatives. The audience is healthy. Yeah, we have issues in the city that I believe artists are great sort of platforms to have those conversations on. And I believe you're right, artists provide a platform where people can talk to the art and not at each other, which is a positive thing. And I think with the city too, for me, the idea that our statistics are so much greater in the negative than anywhere else in the country, it's an opportunity to have the most positive results than anywhere else in the country too. And so that could really be good for the startup community. Because there's plenty of examples of what's now considered. I grew up with the artist path is to be a fine artist, to get in the gallery and then to get in the museum. And then I found out about what a community artist is and how you apply your creativity for the community as opposed to the museum. And you engage with the community to create projects that are creative based, whether it's the built environment, architectural, graphic design, murals, welding programs, anything. I think those are perfect. It's a perfect opportunity for artists to change the community, provide platform for themselves to discover business, because being a community artist has a process that is more business-like and less studio-like. And the results are working in communities where art programs and creative programs don't really exist in the schools, gets artists and gets the community involved in creativity, and then what happens is the community starts to find its own way out, and we don't have to rely on a lot of hows, because the hows happen in the action, not in the dialogue. And that's I think it is, and also for me, the how is like the power of the college travel or the power of the Haggerty Museum. Sometimes there's a destination that is identifiably, undeniably powerful. And until we decide to spend that revenue and build that destination in a part of the city that is ailing, that needs the most, that has the greatest sense of urgency, then the conversation and the cynicism will continue. So I also believe that the how is to invest in something grand, in something significant, and make sure it's world class.
One, yeah, to answer Curtis, your point of contention, or rather more question, about what are we giving to the people. And at the same time, to answer your question, Doug, where do we go? I like to look at both of those questions as I go inside, because what we're giving the people is culture. Art is the vehicle of transmission for culture. So, because of that, I have to go inside and to look into myself and say, like, well, what is interesting to me? Honestly, I'm a musician, I'm a curator, but I'm a businessman. And why would I go to that? What possible reason should I leave my house to go out and be any part of anything that I didn't initially have any interest or desire to be a part of? And so, given that you're transmitting culture through art, then you go inside to find that out. Because once you go inside to find out, everyone's not that different, you know? There are surface differences. There are differences in class, age, race, gender, orientation, nationality. However, the base components of what makes up the human psyche, I think, are relatively the same. And so what you would find interesting is what you could only imagine that at least some part of your population would find interesting. Does anyone know off the top of their head how many people are in Milwaukee? How many people live here?
590, 590,000.
Yeah.
1.5 million in the metro.
1.7.
So,
Yeah,
what is
so in other words,
Run about
that number.
there's more than 1 million people, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, my favorite venues to book at only hold 350 people. So, that's like, okay, cool, I'm gonna do this, you wanna see that? I'm gonna make sure you know about it, see you there. Let me go work on my craft now, because that was the easy part. So that's where I go inside, and then I go inside to give the people the culture through my art.
I think to go on both what you offer and what artists offer, I definitely agree with what Jay is saying. We bring, you create the culture. One of the premises for, I'm not sure if the question is here later, but one of the premises for it is one of the things that I use to sell the idea of the Kingmaker program, and that is that if you create, or if you foster the growth of the creative element in a city, then you retain young professionals, because without culture, right, without somewhere for, you know, James to go after he clocks out to go meet a nice girl, or, you know, to go have a drink with his buddies, and to listen to something or to see something that they all vibe to and feel because they're young, this is what they feel. Without that element, you can't grow a community, and a community can't be healthy. We kind of skirt around the idea of money a lot, but we never really touch on it, and that is like my entire focal point of life at this point, with my programs, with my art. A friend of mine has a good saying. His name is Christopher McIntyre Perceptions, and I also stole this from him. I steal a lot. And so he says very, very plainly, my soul ain't for sale, but my art sure is. And that is the basis of everything. We go in, we create, we bring out, and I wholly agree. I'm not going to say anything that these guys haven't said, honestly. I'm just saying it differently. This idea of a venue, of a world-class venue, of a place that artists go that is open to independent artistry, is key and critical for the success of the tech, for the success of culture building, and for the success of community give back and program, because it's those places where culture starts. It's where they thrive. It's in a world, this flat kind of mentality where we're all on the internet, and the internet of things is taken over. Having a coffee shop where you can only get this vibe is key to bringing people together. It's the only way to do it. It's having, when you go to, the reason artists migrate and you have this brain drain and culture drain in cities is because there are certain places where that density exists, right? Where if you go to Atlanta, you can go to certain neighborhoods, and these bars and these venues hold 600,000 people, and they're packed 5 times a week, right? From local artists no one's ever heard of. So it's not impossible. It's just there's no investment to build those venues and to stick it out until those venues do what they're supposed to do, which is over time.